Darryn Peterson might be the best college basketball player I've seen in a decade, but was he even the best player on the floor on Saturday in Kansas BYU? And can KU actually win a national title when this guy won't play an entire game like ever? And I do have a Darryn Peterson comp that it's probably both great and horrible for Kansas fans. You're going to get all that here in this video. So this was the much hyped matchup. Everybody was talking about this back in the offseason. Let's see Darryn Peterson versus AJ Dybantsa, probably the number 1 and number 2 overall picks in the draft. And you got that syncing up for the 1,000th game in Allen Fieldhouse history, which is pretty crazy. Who's who of Kansas dignitaries were there. Paul Pierce, Nick Collison, Morris twins, Tyshawn Taylor. 2 Chainz was there. 2 Chainz. You know, that one got me happy. 2 Chainz was there. Multiple NBA GMs all in attendance. Epic, elite atmosphere, obviously, from everything you could tell on TV. Certainly Dan Schulman and company were relaying that message as well. And if you only watched one half of this game, you'd be like, man, could not, just out of the park, grand slam, home run, could not have been any better for Kansas. And obviously Darryn Peterson, them supporting their guy, their dude just torched BYU and it just made it look effortless. I mean, this is when I say it's like Darryn Peterson just makes it look so damn easy. The guy just looks like everybody else is running, smashing the turbo button, on the Xbox controller. You got the right trigger to smash down, and he's just like casually jogging along, but still just destroying you. He had 18 points on 6 of 7 shooting, 3 steals for good measure, 3 of 4 from downtown. And I mean, one of the greatest dunks you'll ever see. One of those moments that just makes you go literally just like, whoa, like as you watch it, you can't help but just say, just scream at the TV as it happened. Which again, looked effortless. It didn't look like that was going to be a jam, but he did. And he probably got fouled and it wasn't even called. That's all in the first half in 17 minutes. AJ Dybantsa didn't even get a shot up for the first 2 media timeouts, had 7 points and 2 turnovers in the first half. Like this was like, okay, Kansas up 20, statement made, not only by the Jayhawks, but by Darryn Peterson. Only things got derailed a little bit after that. Guys, please do subscribe to the channel. I'm almost at 30,000 subs. Would really appreciate it if you do. I mean, Kansas, don't get me wrong, a lot of good coming from this, even though the win was only 90-82. It wasn't a 20-point win, and it got a little dicey down the stretch. Kansas, I think, they've announced themselves back as a Big 12 title contender, regardless of what's going on with Darryn Peterson, which we'll dive into more of that in a moment. But they get Arizona a week from Monday night. They play them twice. They've got Iowa State right after that. Like, they'll have chances to knock off teams in front of them in the standings. And that first half version of Kansas, I mean, who is beating them in the Big 12? Look, I know Houston's awesome. I know Arizona's awesome. I guess maybe the answer would be Arizona. You could get an incredibly high-level game between those two. But not many in the country are going to beat that Kansas team that played in the first half. But Darryn Peterson, if I told you in this game Darryn Peterson did Darryn Peterson things, that means Darryn Peterson did all the Darryn Peterson things, including only playing 3 minutes in the second half, which is very, very much a Darryn Peterson thing. He's only played 11 of 21 games this year, so he's missed about half the season. And in those 11 games, only 6 of the 11, he's played more than 25 minutes. So it's like he's played half the games, and half of those games that he's played, he's definitely playing like under starter minutes. And Bill Self said after the game, it's cramping again. I've seen some of the, I saw, I think it was Mike Vernon, who, is about as plugged in as anybody with Kansas, was mentioning something about, like a representative for Peterson talking to a KU athletics representative, and then talks to the trainer, and then they go throw the leg wraps on Peterson, and he just sits there as a 21-point lead is getting whittled all the way down to 4. He's just chilling on the bench with some leg wraps. I mean, it is weird. It's weird. It's not a great look. I'm not sure how you handle that as a team, as a coach. But, I mean, at the end of the day, he did enough to help them win and win a big game by staking them to that massive lead. He still did, I think fair to say, outplayed AJ Dybantsa, even though Dybantsa scored 17 points. I mean, he got it going a little bit in the second half. I just don't know what you do. I don't know if this Kansas team, is it fair to say they're a national championship contender? I mean, if Darryn Peterson is playing full games, they certainly are, but I don't know. I mean, after the game, speaking of the Darryn Peterson performance here, as well as he played for half after the game, here's what Kevin Young, BYU's head coach, said about who the best player was in the game. He said the best player on the floor today was Richie Saunders. Oh, sorry, you got Jerome Tang still there. Oh, why are you not going to show this, my friend? There we go. Best player on the floor today was Richie Saunders, which is fair. Richie Saunders dropped 33 and 10. He was awesome. But this was Kevin Young being asked, like, hey, this matchup is so hyped, number 1 versus number 2 player. He's not even saying Darryn Peterson. He's saying it was Richie Saunders, which I get it. It's his guy. You know, he's probably going to be liable to say something like that, but he's not really wrong. When you only play 3 minutes in the second half of a game that wound up being a 4-point game down the stretch, you know, what can you say about that? And if you're Kansas, this was the comp that I came up with. This just feels to me a lot like the Andrew Wiggins, Joel Embiid year for 2 reasons. Because I feel like I see some Darryn Peterson in both of those guys. Obviously, I mean, Darryn Peterson was more dominant at the college level than either one of those 2. Okay, full stop. I get it. But like Joel Embiid was a great player, but just he had injury issues. He had the back injury, and that kept him out of the NCAA tournament. They lost in the round of 32. And part of that is because Andrew Wiggins, well, wildly talented, who wound up being the number 1 pick in the draft, he was not enough of like a dog, you know, if we're just going to break it down to that terminology. And I mean, D-A-W-G, dog. He was not like a dog like Sharon Collins, Mario Chalmers, Christian Brown, Ochai Agbaji, like guys like that. He was wildly talented, but he didn't have that killer instinct in him, and he was not going to be enough to pull that team through when you didn't have Joel Embiid. So, I mean, I just get some shades of that where it's like you've got obviously the best player in the country. You've got the guy who's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft, but if he's not going to be on the floor more than a half in any game and only play half the games, like, are you truly a national championship contender? The rest of the roster seems to be rounding into form. That's the thing. Bill Self seems to be coaching up a storm, man. I mean, Bryson Tiller suddenly has gone for 37 and 14 combined in the last 2 games. He looks like he's turning into a great player. Melvin Council's a stud. Trey White, stud. I mean, they're figuring it out. But they're having to do it with this distraction / just like literally it's kind of an impediment in the game. Like, how do you handle that? And for Bill Self, it's such like a hard-nosed coach, like such a tough, gritty coach. Like, I don't know, man. I'm sure he's getting used to it by this point, but it is totally like a new world, next, new generation kind of basketball issue that you're having to deal with right now. They seem like they're doing a good job with it. But if you're going to be in a critical NCAA tournament game and he goes and drops 17 in the first half, and then at the 16-minute mark of the second half in a 2-point NCAA tournament game, you know, a Sweet 16 game, he's like, hey, sorry, can't do it. Give me the branded leg wraps. I don't know that I can say Kansas is a legit national championship contender. So I'm fascinated to see how this unfolds and how they deal with that dynamic the rest of the year. And look, even if it's not going to be Kansas, click here to find out why I do think the Big 12 will win a basketball national championship this year.